So the next thing I'm going to do, now that I've shown you what we're going to build, I think that it's important for me to just think about what variables I'm going to need, and I'm going to set up my variables first. So here are the variables that I'm going to use for my product or my project. One is, and these are all going to be global variables, so these will all be set for all sprites. The speed, that's how fast my dots move. Infectious percentage, that's how likely a healthy dot, if a healthy dot meets a sick dot, the chance of getting sick. So if the infectious percentage is 100%, it means that every time a healthy dot meets a sick dot, they'll get sick. And if it's 50%, it means half the time. Sick time is how long a sick dot stays sick before they become healthy. Isolation percent is the percent of dots that don't move around at all. So just like we're all in home isolation right now, my dots can be isolated. My hospital capacity is how many dots my hospitals can hold before the hospitals are overloaded. I'm going to have a variable for total population, sick population, and healthy population. And then my dots are going to have two local variables. One is called my number, and when a dot is created, it's going to choose a number between 1 and 100, and I'll use that number to see if I'm part of the isolation group or not. And then I'll explain how that works in a little bit. And then I'm going to have my status, which is sick or healthy. Notice that I put the word my before my local variables, but I still have to say for this sprite only. So I'm going to go ahead and create these variables. So let's go ahead and go to Scratch. And I'm going to make a new Scratch thing here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my cat because I don't have any cats in this project, but I do have dots. So I'm going to go ahead and make a dot, and I'm going to paint a dot, and I want it to be a solid color. This is really important that it's a solid color because I'm going to use the colors later. So first I'm going to say that there's no outline at all, and my healthy dots are going to be, I don't know, this blue color right here. I like that blue. And I'm going to draw some perfect circles. So the way to draw a perfect circle is you select the circle and you hold down Shift, and there we go. I want it to be really small, and that's pretty darn small, but I think I even want it to be smaller. So I'm going to set its size to like 85%, maybe even smaller than that. Let's see, 70%? Yeah, nice little circle. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it literally over this, because this hash mark, it's kind of hard to see, but this tells you the center of the object. Right now, it thinks the center of the object is over here as opposed to here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it. I'm going to grab it, drag the whole thing, and I'm going to put it on top of the center. And it actually snaps when it's when it's truly centered. So there it is. It's centered on that object. And that's going to be costume 1, which is going to be my healthy costume. And I'm going to go ahead and create another costume as well. So I'm going to hit Control or Option. I'm going to duplicate this costume. Here's my new costume. And I think I can fill it with a new color. And so for the new color, I'm going to choose the reddest red there is. So I'm going to set the color to 100 and the saturation to 100. And then I'm going to go over here and just take the arrow until that thing turns red, and then I'm going to click on it, and that's my new costume. So costume 1, I'm going to rename to healthy, and costume 2, I'm going to rename to sick. So now I've got my costumes. Now I'm going to go ahead and create my variables. So I have some global variables. So I will say when this all starts, when my project starts. I'm going to create some variables. So what are my variables? So let's go back to my document here, see what my variables are. So speed, infectious percent, sick time, those are the 3 I can remember. Speed, so make a variable. Speed, it's for all sprite. Make a variable. Infectious percent. Infectious percent for all sprites. What was the other one? God, my brain is like so addled. sick time. This is how long they stay sick in tenths of a second. So sick time, and it's for all sprites. I know I need healthy. Well, I need total. This is my total number, my total count. I need healthy. How many of them are healthy? I need sick, my sick count. I need hospital capacity. And what else do I have on this list here? Isolation, isolation percent, and that's it. Okay, isolation percent. So this is what percentage of my guys are going to stay isolated. Isolation percent. Now I need some local variables too. So my local variables are going to be, and this is how I create a local variable for this sprite only, my number, which is going to be a range of 1 to 100. And then and see how it says sprite1, my number? That tells you that it's a local variable. And then I'm going to make another local variable for this sprite only, which is my status. All right, so I've created all of my variables. They're all sitting up here. Now, when I start my project, I want to set healthy to 0. I want to set everybody to 0. So there are no healthy people. There are no sick people. There is no total population. No total. There is no. Let's see. There is no speed. Well, actually, I do want there to be a speed, which is how fast do I want them to move in steps, the ones that are moving. So I'm going to set it right now to 5 steps, that I want my speed to be 5. And I'm going to set, what else do I have? The number of people who stay isolated, so my isolation percent is going to be 0, so everybody is going to be running around. And I'm going to set my infectious rate to 100, so everybody can get everyone else infected. And those are going to be my initial variables. Now, what I need to do is I need to build 100 of these guys. Well, first I need to, this is the parent. Remember how there's always a parent object? So I'm going to go ahead and hide the parent. So I'm going to say, hey parent, please hide, because I don't want to see you at all. So I'm going to go into looks and say hide. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 100 of these dots, or maybe 200 of these dots. How big do I want my population to be? I want it to be 200. So I'm going to set, I'm going to create 200 of these guys. So what I'm going to do at the start is I'm going to say repeat 200 times and create a clone of myself, which is under control. Create a clone of myself, and let's see what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. Nothing. Oh, and there's nothing here. So the reason why nothing is here is because my parent is hidden, so all my children are hidden too. So one thing I need to do is I need to say show. So I'm going to go, when I start as a clone, let's see, when I start as a clone, please show. And if I go looks and I say show, let's go ahead and run it now. Oh, but I only created one of these guys. Oh, no, I created more than one. They're just on top of each other. So what I need to do is I also need to have them go to a random location. So I'm going to say motion, go to random position. All right, let's see what happens now. All right, now I have 100 dots. Okay, perfect. So I've got 100 sick dots running around, and I've got a whole bunch of variables. I'm going to go ahead and hide my variables so I can kind of see what's going on here. Get rid of this, 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 this. So far I have 100 dots showing up. And that is basically step 1 of my project. Got 200 dots, right? Yeah, 200 dots showing up. Perfect.